Hello, everyone. Welcome to a generational talk podcast with Hal Donahue and Kristin Battista-Frazee.
Two completely different generations and general looks, I might add.
So
What's our
Hal,
topic about?
so Hal, introduce yourself.
Still Hal Donahue, retired Air Force, former energy guy, Eagle Scout, street cop, jack of all trades. That's me.
That's me, and that's great. And I'm Kristin. I'm a social worker, author of The Pornographer's Daughter, and I'm a volunteer with Women Forward and on the editorial board of the Grassroots Connector. I'm Gen X.
I'm definitely a boomer, early boomer.
And we're just going to launch right in and talk about what's on our mind. So, Hal, why don't you kick us off?
Immigration's on my mind. I mean, it really is, because if you come down to it, we're both ethnic something or others. Well, everybody is. Felon Trump demonizing immigrants, to me, is hysterical. His grandfather was kicked out of Germany, revoked his Prussian citizenship because he did not serve and would not serve military service. So he went to Alaska and ran a brothel.
I did not know that.
Well, let's put it this way. The guide said, this is an excellent hotel, but no woman of good character would ever enter it. I can't get any more definite than that, I don't think. His father was left for some unknown reason and was accused of war profiteering by both the United States federal government and then the state of New York. So, I mean, Felon Trump hasn't fallen far from the bush here, or the tree.
So for us lay people, what is F for?
I don't even know if they use the term anymore. 4 means unfit for service for health reasons.
Okay.
You know, kind of like bone spurs.
Bone spurs. Okay.
I don't know if that's what he had or not, but exempts from service for health.
So fabricated genetic conditions of bones.
Say it's fabricated. We don't know. The records are lost, and we don't know what exactly he got his 4F for.
Okay, fair enough.
But then he went to building houses for profit for the war effort, and I would say made a fortune, but what can I say?
Yeah.
But for that immigrant to be anti-immigrant is utterly absurd in my mind. But yet he is.
Well, I mean, we all have an immigrant story. That's unmistakable. I mean, unless you're Native American.
Native Americans have an immigrant story. All their origin stories
really? Tell me
immigrant.
about that. Tell me what you know about that.
I don't know a whole lot, but it's about coming into this nation or their area or wherever their tribal region is and moving around. Their stories are fascinating. And now they're finding out there is a definite element of truth to them.
Wow. I've never heard that before. Very interesting. I've been reflecting on my own family's immigrant story. My dad is a first generation Italian American, and his father, my grandfather, came here from Italy as a young man, worked really hard. He worked on the Reading Railroad in Philadelphia and eventually became a foreman. And his two sons, one of which was my dad, he went to college and was successful, and my uncle as well. He became the CEO of a couple corporations. My uncle. I have to say, because my grandfather decided to come to this country, I definitely have a better life, and our whole family has contributed to being good citizens and upholding American values and the Constitution. Supporting democracy. So, and I think a lot of immigrants who come here, even more recently, they have the same desires as the immigrants my family came here. It's not any different than that. It's not any different.
It's the same story. For a while, until I moved down to Virginia, I was a member of the Italian American war veterans.
Oh, you're kidding. I had three uncles that served in World War II.
But the Italian American veterans came about because they were so prejudiced against. And they opened up. That's a story that's always kind of hidden away. I mean, even Giuliani in New York made his reputation fighting against prejudice against Italian Americans, claiming they were all mafia and everything else. It's the same thing as now Indians, the Indians from India, so there's no confusion with our ethnic groups. The Indians from India come here, work hard, dirty jobs, and go to college.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
it's every immigrant group.
yes,
The Irish, the Germans, the same way. I
they
think
all
I told
experience the same thing more recent new coming immigrants have faced.
exactly.
Definitely.
I used to
Yeah.
go to Little Italy, get sent to Little Italy in Scranton, Pennsylvania, to
Nice.
buy Italian bread and to
Okay.
buy
The best.
chickens. Yeah,
Yeah.
they'd send me down to, I don't know what the name of the store was, to get a chicken. The only thing that bothered me was the chickens were alive. They'd take them out of a cage.
Yes, my grandmother will tell stories. My whole family's from Philadelphia, so my grandmother had told stories when I was young that she'd go to the Italian market on Ninth Street and that she would have to go and get the chicken and they would butcher it live. They would
Right
butcher it.
there.
Yeah, yeah, so same story. Yeah, the Italian enclaves of our country have the best bread. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. So, all these immigrants, they bring in their wonderful culture and their food, and it just, I mean, it makes us better. And,
Did I ever tell you about Officer Armando Elagrucci?
no,
He was, when I was on the Scranton Police Department, he had badge number 1, the most senior guy on the police department, patrolman. He always took walking a beat, no matter what the weather was,
really?
in West Scranton by what was Little Italy once upon a time, the main street. And I said, the one time I said, Armando, why are you doing this? Get in the car. And he goes, before the war, when I was a kid, I'd come up on Main Avenue and the cop would give me a crack across my ass and tell me get down where I belong. And he says, now I belong here.
Great story.
Yeah, but it's the same animosity. When my wife and I first started traveling across the country, we were amazed. The worst thing you could be in the South was a black person. The
Oh,
worst thing you could
devastating.
be in the Southwest was Hispanic, Mexican. Then you get to the West Coast, the worst you could be was Oriental.
Asian.
Yes, but that was, I'm using the words of the day.
Yeah.
And then you go, and thanks for correcting me about that. And then we went up to the Northwest and everybody was okay except Indians, i.e. Native Americans. And
Yeah.
this is 1970.
Not that long ago. That was the year
Not
I was
that
born,
okay.
1970. So now everyone knows how old I am. I'm 55. Right now I'm in the Florida Keys, and the protective status for Haitians is ending on February 3rd. So that's going to impact about 350,000 people living in the US, and about 130,000 of those people live in the Miami, South Florida area, and extending down into the Florida Keys here. So I am plugging into immigrant support networks here, and we're expecting ICE abductions to ramp up pretty quickly. So we're kind of bracing ourselves for down here. A lot of that Haitian population, they came here after the earthquake, and things in that country are not any better,
The
not any
worst.
better at all. Very violent, very violent, very violent. So now we're going to segue just for a quick break, and we'll talk a little bit about what each of us are working on. And I know yesterday you were on the Hill, so could you tell us a little bit about that?
Is this our break?
This is our break. We're
Uh,
segueing.
okay, I was on the Hill. The issue was the War Powers Act, and
Eh,
Congress is supposed to declare wars, not kings.
Did you guys have a good turnout at the press conference?
The turnout by the press was good, but I haven't seen any statistics on what stories got printed, if any,
Got
or
it.
where it went.
Got it. Got
But
it.
it's a constant push, push, push. It was a vote vets and Congressman Crow effort. And I'll tell you, Congressman Crow's an impressive individual. I was
Really?
impressed. Colorado.
Colorado. That's wonderful. And we came so close in the Senate to getting it passed. What do you think the
Well,
chances
Vance
are?
had to show up to.
Right. So you think, gives you like a glimmer of hope that maybe if they keep at it, the dam will break and it can get through.
I was there representing vote vets, and the whole issue is we have to not let it go to sleep. We have to keep pushing, 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 because this criminal president of ours, and criminal's a proper term because he is a
Yes.
convicted felon,
And you're right.
and this criminal is going to stumble us into a war. I mean, he just today insulted our allies dead in Afghanistan and Iraq. I would be even more outraged than I am, except I think he's doing it for two real reasons. The economy at home, Jack Smith's testimony yesterday, which was really powerful, I thought, and make that three reasons. The Epstein files still are not released.
I mean, that's a good theory. It sounds very plausible. For me, I write for the Grassroots Connector, and I had an article come out this week about the religious resistance rising up against MAGA. So I'd love for people to check that out at the Grassroots Connector and to share that. And I'm doing a lot with Women Forward and the Right to Win project that we're working on. And we got those workshops coming up on February 2nd. And
I don't think I signed up yet. I'm welcome to sign, right?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, I know it's Women Forward, but men are more than welcome.
That's why I asked.
I know. Some of the state groups, they stick to, outreaching to their, women sisters out there. But these writing groups are open to anyone because, of course, women are fighting alongside or allied with their male counterparts all over the country. So, of course,
you're losing faster than everyone is. You're in the same boat as immigrants, for goodness sakes. I mean, we're back to my wife needs a counter signature for a credit card. Come on. We're not there yet, but it's getting there.
Yeah, my Senator Rick Scott, I keep getting emails about him promoting and trying to push through the SAVE Act, which we all know is code for women, having it be harder for women to register to vote.
The goal is women should go back to not voting.
Right, of course.
The man's the head of the household and he should vote. Yeah. That's worked out well for us. Look at Trump.
So anyway, let's go into our best and worst of the week. So you want to kick us off with best and worst of the week?
Best has to be Minnesota.
That was mine too. We might as well give our best at the same time.
Yeah, they have been incredible.
They're out in the streets. They are fighting back.
Peacefully fighting back.
Yeah, and today is the National Day of Solidarity with Minnesota. No work, no school, no shopping. And I know there's going to be local protests here in the Florida Keys in solidarity. And today all Minnesotans are going to come together and speak out against ICE.
Someone banging into your home unannounced would probably they won't do that in red states.
No, I mean, I know we talked about this before offline, but Texas has a lot of immigrants there.
Texas, New York, and California are the big immigrant states.
And Florida too. And I have to say, they are very active down here. They are being very aggressive down here in the state of Florida, arresting and detaining immigrants. So I'd be curious if they're going to swarm Miami, Florida, or Houston.
Never. So, they're red. They wouldn't dare take the chance.
Right. So that brings us very easily into the worst, right? Because that was on my list, like everything that was going on with ICE. It's been very hard to watch all those vicious arrests in Minnesota. The one that sticks out for me is that poor older gentleman who was forced out of his home wearing underwear and a blanket, pushed out in the freezing cold, only wearing Crocs, to be driven around for an hour and realizing that they have the wrong person. There was in no way was he supposed to be a target, but yet he was brutalized. They broke into his home, terrorized his family, and it's that sort of thing that's happening, probably more so than we even know about.
How about the 5-year-old?
Another egregious, disgusting act by ICE. I mean, it's never ending. It seems never ending, and it's very.
I fear that he being felon Trump, is trying desperately to get us to resort to violence. And that would be a huge mistake. They can handle violence.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they cannot handle everyone refusing their orders, refusing to do everything. Minnesota is a perfect example. Portland, Oregon's another one.
Yeah, yes. And they're going to Maine They're about to surge.
I think they're going to
Maine,
have
they're
a
there now.
terrible surprise in Maine. I've been to
Oh,
Maine a
why
few
is that?
times.
Tell me more. I have a friend up there in Maine. We've been talking pretty regularly.
And what's your friend in Maine saying?
I mean, it is extremely cold, first of all, like Minnesota, and people there are extremely independent. They are not like these coastal elites that people would characterize like in New York City or other places like around the Beltway. These are fierce, independent citizens
Armed.
that are not and armed, that are not going to take any guff. They are not going to take this lightly.
Maybe that's why Felon Trump had them go up there trying to get
Maybe.
an incident. I don't know.
I
But
don't
you're
know.
right. They are fiercely independent,
They
don't
are,
put up with much shit, but they are not stupid either. So
and they're
let's see
tough.
what happens.
They're tough.
Well, you have to be to live up
I
there.
know. It's a beautiful state, though. I go every summer, and
And summer's wonderful.
yeah, my friend we went touring around and looked at the lighthouses. It's really a lovely state, and so it was fun. But you know what? The other thing that got me this week that I mean, I was trying to think, what's the worst? The Greenland, Trump's behavior at Davos. So many bad things.
Behavior at Davos was worse than Biden's debate performance.
Oh my God,
Trump
yeah. Right.
Trump's behavior at Davos was his Biden debate performance.
They
After
told me.
that,
They
there
told
should have
me.
been immediate calls for medical and for impeachment. But no one, at least in any medical book I've ever read or medical person I've ever ran into, thought cognitive tests should be administered. What? They're administering them quarterly now.
I mean, it seems to be more frequently, right? He
Exactly.
brags about it that he passes it. Does
Yeah.
done the best anyone ever has, like the way he talks.
I'm
It's so
saying, I
weird.
don't believe it. I think he's
Oh
making it up.
yeah. Or they're
But
trying to tell him, old man, like, yes, you did very well, and pat him on the head and you know,
the
make
way
him
it can
feel
keep
better.
the little baby wants presents and pats on the head. If he
Right.
doesn't get it, but he didn't get it at Davos. The Brits took
No.
away his trade agreement and the EU did. No, he didn't get it. He got pushback. His big peace group is made up of a bunch of dictators and warmongers. I mean,
Yes.
Putin.
Yeah, please. But you know what story stuck out for me as I was reading the headlines and going over them this morning? I don't know if you caught this report. The White House posted an altered photo of
Of the woman crying?
Nakima Levy Armstrong. She was a lawyer who was
Oh, was she a
arrested.
lawyer? I
She
saw
was a
the
lawyer.
altered and unaltered pictures.
Yeah, so she interrupted a church service and led a protest in St. Paul, Minneapolis
Did she do
on
that, or
Sunday.
did she? They said the leaders. I think she engineered it, or did she
Yes, she
lead it?
did. She led a protest
Okay.
and was arrested. The real image, the one that the Department of Homeland Security posted, she was very composed. She was strong, looked,
Hard. Yes.
she was fine, but yet the White House altered an image using AI, showing her crying and distraught. I mean, I was just like, this is the height of propaganda. I mean, just really scary that the government is kind of going to those types of lengths to distort the truth. And I know this is one picture and one incident, but we already know they're lying about everything.
That,
Thing.
can I say something?
Yeah.
Traders, economists, people with stock portfolios, be aware anything coming out of this government is not reliable. The inflation figures everything. We have no idea. Stick with the private numbers and other numbers because the government's lying to us in healthcare, lying to us in science. They're lying to us across the board everywhere. And I'll
Very
bet you they're
damaging.
lying to us about the number of immigrants apprehended.
I'm sure there's a lot we don't know. I mean, I always think, gosh, 20 years from now, we're going to hear about even more vicious and horrible stories, that we didn't know that
We
was
best
going
not have
on.
to wait 20 years.
I hope not, but it seems that there's probably a lot going on that we don't know about.
I'm
And the stuff that we already know about is horrifying.
Well, they're not telling us about it. Our press is totally unreliable. If they're not covering stories, they're covering stories from different angles. It's atrocious what's happening.
I would just say, in support of the news media, that they're also being inundated with so much going on. I think there's a difficulty in covering everything in the way that it maybe should be.
But
That's
I understand that, but I would put to you we've consolidated our mainstream media so much
fair,
that
fair.
it's now the oligarchs are now controlled.
Yes, that is absolutely true
And
too.
in you read stories, and I look at a headline on a story and I go, well, there's another way to phrase that headline about this story.
Yeah.
It's well, there's the press is even starting to use illegal. I mean,
Yes,
that's being here undocumented is not a crime most of the time. Let's be very clear about that.
that is true.
Being here undocumented is a civil offense, like a
Yes,
traffic violation.
that is true. That is a very important
And
reminder.
and they keep saying criminals, crimes. Now, some may be criminals, and that's the criminal justice system. But ICE has nothing to do with most of that. ICE's job is to enforce immigration rules.
Yeah.
And normally it's a ticket and show up in court. But now they're
Now they're going
going
to
to
get yes.
court and kidnapping the people who comply. And that's the only word
Mm,
I can say. They're
I know.
kidnapping them.
Yeah, I think an apt word. So we are at the end of our time. Do you have any parting thoughts?
They're kidnapping them.
I totally agree, and I just hope that we can all be strong enough to peacefully protest and really stand up against what's happening. We got to end with your line. Oh, what
See
do you
you
say?
in the streets and at the polls.
There you go. I love it. So with that, we're going to end our talk today, and everyone out there, stay safe.